Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason, and it is February the 1st, 2023, here in downtown Brenham, Texas, hanging out at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki Rock Shop, where I am the on staff and owner psychic. Let's get right into what's happening currently in Texas, and I think across most of the country, everybody's freezing. So let's get into solar weather. It's cold here. A lot of people canceled school yesterday. But the sun is actually picking up on flaring, right? And so flaring intensifies weather. No matter if it is hot or cold weather, whether it's driven by electromagnetic currents on the surface of the planet and in the solar system. And so when the sun picks up solar flaring, weather gets more triggered, right? And so sometimes that causes weather to come further south. Sometimes that causes weather to be more intense. Sometimes that causes more precipitation to be involved in the weather that is occurring, because rain, it's most nurturing because of its electromagnetic charge that it has in the sky and drops on your plants, which is why even when it's light rain, your plants start to reach up and grow because they've been growing towards that electricity. So that was a weird lesson on solar weather. But anyway, the solar flares have been picking up this week. They're going to continue to pick up. There was a large CME last night off the backside. So, but it was really, really large. Technically, it would have been a kill shot. Kill shot meaning killing the power, killing the grid, knocking out satellites. And it was triggered, interestingly enough, by a comet that was passing by the sun. So the sun is strong in its magnetic pull, but doesn't necessarily pull everything in. And so the comet managed to make it past. And then as it made it past the sun on the backside, it shot a solar coronal mass ejection out at it. And if you want to go look at solar weather online, you can go see those pictures that are in satellite view. And so that large eruption, even the comet, would cause a lot of bigger thoughts. What am I doing here? What can I do greater, right? And those go along with all the thoughts that we are having from the end of these retrogrades, right? So the sun is really having an effect on the weather. Pay attention. Solar flares in general cause a little bit of heart palpitations and anxiety, right? Almost like you're energized for no reason, and so you start to assume you had too much caffeine, or maybe that you're having an anxiety attack if you're prone to such things. But that's just the sun being really active. Also note, just an FYI, the more the sun becomes active, the cooler the planet gets, which is weird. So watch for temperatures to be lower than normal. Yeah, interesting stuff on that. So let's get right into the regular cosmos, and see what's happening today, Wednesday. Today, Wednesday, is a calm day. Nothing is in particularly happening. I think there was a master 11 day yesterday. And so today, what's happening along with that solar influence is Chiron and Uranus. And so Chiron is that old wounds, right? So in this sort of in-between calm time when we have no retrogrades, we're tempted to sort of focus on doing things right? So now that we're moving in this forward direction and having our life sort of actually bear fruit to what we've been working on ourselves, right? We did a lot of shadow work with all those retrogrades over the last several months, but definitely over the last several years since 2020. And so we're tempted to sort of refocus now that there's nothing to do. But when we refocus inwardly, that is when there's not a retrograde, that causes a delay and it's a diversion from you actually moving forward in your life. So Chiron's kind of influencing that right now. So a better way to say that, or a simpler way to say that, is now is not the time for shadow work. Now is the time to shine. And so shining with Uranus going in, Uranus is really about progress, right? And so it's in, I believe it's in opposition to the sun. Anyway, it's causing you to sort of question progress, right? And so the progress would be slow. So all these new things, you're like, oh, I saw it in the star report. It should be happening right now, right? Things take time to develop, right? And so the slowness with which this is developing, it is causing you to want to look at, well, maybe I didn't fix some of the broken things about myself. But like I said, that's Uranus and Chiron sort of messing with you, getting you to be diverted and causing you or asking you to believe in your own sovereignty, that you can move into better days. Ooh, the smoke's really going across the screen right now. That's pretty cool. And so that leads us into tomorrow, Thursday, which is February the 2nd, which is a 2-2 day. So 22 is a master number, right? But it's also an 11 day. So when you add up 02 to 2023, it's an 11, right? So it's an 11/22 day. So it's a double master day. And so that's just sort of reiterating that all of the work that you've done really is about shining, and all the work that you've done in yourself is mastery, right? So act like you are complete and choose like you already have mastered your mind, your diet, whatever it is you've been working on, right? Your career, your relationships. Act like a master, right? You don't have to like be condescending, but act in the confidence that you have worked on yourself, and what is going on is what you're choosing to go on, and it's going to go according to plan, right? Now it's going to go a little slower because Uranus is messing with us, but nonetheless, you are a master, and so act in that mastery. So that leads us into Friday. Feels like a new beginning, right? So this master day where you can sort of, we've all worked or operated in the fact that we will get better or we're not as good as we could be, and that there are people that are better than this, therefore we're not masters. And so Friday is going to feel like a different day, right? That we are one of the people who can master whatever it is we're doing, whether that's the career, whether that's writing a book, whether that's making a video, whether that's running your own business, right? Sure, there's probably people that are further down the road of mastery, but you should start to function on Friday like you have mastered what it is that you're working on, and start to have the confidence. What would people who have mastered their life, their job, their career choose on that kind of stuff? And so it's going to feel like a brand new start, because most of us have been operating on, oh, well, when I get older, or when I have enough degrees, or when I get enough certifications, or what have you, or when I have enough money and it's okay if I mess up so that I have enough money in the bank, all those kinds of things. Friday is going to feel brand new, like you're a master. Saturday, which would make that, let's see, Thursday's the 2nd, Friday's the 3rd, Saturday's the 4th. So yeah, on the 4th, Saturday is halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, right? So we're moving into rebirth, right? So that energy, see, it's all making sense, right? All that energy is lining up so that it does what it's supposed to do, right? When we govern ourselves by the energy of the cosmos, then we are prepared to be what the cosmos calls us to be, right? So coming into an awakening, a new life, a rebirth, a blooming, right? Those are the energies that are happening on Saturday, right? And you'll be able to sort of feel the shift, especially if the sun keeps kicking off. You're going to feel those little charges of, hey, things are different. It's going to feel a little scary. Or let me rephrase that. It's going to feel a little uneasy because you're not used to being the master of your own world, especially when 90% of the stuff that we see on videos like this, in the news, in social media, is telling you that you're not, or is telling you that something else outside of you is in control, but you're in control. And so that leads us to Sunday. And so Sunday, I believe that's the 5th. Sunday the 5th is, so Sunday and Monday, because everything happens in 36 48 hour increments. Sunday is a full moon, and so Sunday, full moons are restarts, full energy clearings, right? So it's pinnacle, right? Usually the new moon is the beginnings, right? And so this is sort of letting stuff go. We're having that new energy, having all the energy to choose something new. Is this full moon energy? Sundays here at the shop would be a great time to come in and do elemental rhythm breakthrough breathwork, and which is transformational, and it will transform your life. And some of the people who've been here, maybe I'll get some quotes from them about what's going on in their minds and psyches with that stuff. But breathwork, great way to sort of breathe into that newness, breathe into that mastery, right? What else is more control than how you can control your breath, right? If you are the master of your breath, then you're a master of your own life, right? Because breath is life. If you're not breathing, you're going to go out pretty quick. If you're not drinking water, you'll last a little longer. If you're not eating food, you can last probably about a month and a half if you have water with no food. And so that sort of thing there, when you master the breath, you master really the beginning of controlling how is your life going, right? Because anxiety gets controlled during that. The body begins to re-regulate when you start to breathe correctly, and then you have more energy. And then when you add intention to that breathing, where you're breathing in more spiritual energy, more prana, more plasma into the body and using that, then all of a sudden you become more spiritual too, when you can learn how to control your breath. So that's Sunday in the full. Of course, people that are unaware of the cosmos and stuff like that, the full moon brings out some craziness. So look for others who are less aware of the star report, and Jason here and New Dimensions and Brenham, to sort of be a little bit wonky, right? Because that is intense energy, and it's a draw energy, right? It's a magnetism, it's a release, right? So if people have been functioning on autopilot or been living very stressful lives, the moon pulls that out of them, right? So that's something to sort of be paying attention to. So watch out in traffic, and then watch out being in public places. Not that people are dangerous, but people are crazy, and that energy might trigger you as well. Which leads us Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, which is the last day of the report, right? We go Wednesday to Tuesday and then start again next Wednesday. Tuesday is the end of the post-Mercury retrograde shadow, right? So there's always shadows 2.5, 3 weeks after the planet goes direct, where there's sort of residual stuff going on, right? And so that little bit of Mercury post-shadow is really sort of informing that Chiron thing, like maybe something's not fixed, maybe something's not right, and you're tempted to sort of look at that. It's just really sort of telling you that those are your edges, and sort of when you're mastering your life, watch out that those could be the places where people can you that you're not a master of your own life or try to bring you back. This is like growing up in a small town, and then people never let you live down what you did in high school, even though you're like 45, all that kind of stuff. It is this kind of energy, right? And so Tuesday is the end of that post Mercury retrograde shadow, so you can sort of move forward into this mastery, into this new life. And that means that we'll be free of all the post shadows, and most of them, I believe, and the ones that matter. We'll be moving into a retrograde free world until April the 21st, right? So that's a couple of months to sort of master your life. So that's almost like the first quarter of the year, right? Into springtime is this time of building. What are you going to be blooming? What are you going to be building? What is it going to look like, right? And so this would be a good time to sort of master plan your life, schedule some stuff out, put some goals down that you want to achieve, right? Because when you're in this growth stage, if you don't have a goal to get to, then you're sort of growing haphazardly, right? And so this would be the difference between having a rose bush and then having a rose bush that's on a trellis that sort of grows the way you tell it to, right? So when you have an outline for yourself to grow into, then you're much more likely to look proper, right? So you're going to grow into what you thought you were going to look like, and then you're going to grow into more of what you thought. And then you'll be further along growing into that if you have some kind of guidance, right? So that's what you want to do, is setting goals and having a timeline and sort of having measurable things along the way. Like, am I growing? You are. You're master. So I believe that is everything for this week's report. Sign up online at newdimensionscrystals.com for the breath work. All you have to do, if you're purchasing the class, and it's a one-time class, if you're purchasing the class before Sunday, then just by Saturday at 5 p.m., if you've gone online to the website, newdimensionscrystals.com, and you've purchased the class, it's only $22 still right now. And that'll be your ticket. And then just show up on Sunday morning here at the shop, 221 East Main Street. And the class is from 10 a.m. to 11:30-ish, right? Depending on how many breakthroughs we have, the conversation that happens afterwards. But definitely the program, the guidance is done in that hour and a half thing. And that's why the cost is such. It's an hour and a half class. It is life-giving. In the meantime, Like and subscribe to this. Share this on your social media. I try to get this out. Sometimes it misses Instagram, but I'll try to get it on Instagram as well. Most of the time, this is on Facebook when I share the link. But of course, if you've subscribed to the channel, you get the notification that there's a new video out, and you can see this and share this with your friends directly from the YouTube. Until next time, many blessings.